Well, hello there. Happy New Year and welcome to On the Beat, the podcast that uncovers full frontal male nudity in cinema. My name is Laura and I am joined by my geek Ryan.
We are recording this on New Year's Day.
Totally geeked out.
Yep, geeking it. I am scared. Like, that is a terrifying prospect.
Yeah.
Of enjoying alcohol maybe too much and then finding yourself in a cage
And
biting the heads off chickens.
the cage we're talking about today is the 2021 neo-noir psychological thriller Nightmare Alley.
Yeah.
Wow, what a crop. What a stacked crop of actors we have starring in this film, including Bradley Cooper, Cate Blanchett, Toni Collette, Willem Dafoe, Richard Jenkins, Rooney Mara, Ron Perlman, and many, many other people.
Yeah. Bradley Cooper's pretty good in this one.
His accent is so good.
It's very good. Yeah, he
usually-
put a bunch of work into it, obviously.
You get a southern accent and sometimes you can just dismiss it as just, I don't know, trite, boring, or whatever.
Yeah.
It just depends on who's doing it, but it's so good.
It's very good.
Why don't I go and give you the synopsis? It's a short and sweet one,
Good.
pulled from Letterboxd.
Okay, perfect.
An ambitious carnival man with a talent for manipulating people with a few well-chosen words hooks up with a female psychologist who is even more dangerous than he is.
Okay, I see.
Weird.
All right.
And the tagline is, man or beast. Yeah.
I remember that because I wasn't super familiar with the product that is Nightmare Alley, because it was a book originally from, I think it's from 1946.
Six.
Yes. And then it was made into a film in 1947 pretty quickly, and it's obviously a noir, more of a noir, like black and white noir movie. And it has this kind of weird supernatural carny like element to it, which I quite enjoy. But yeah, it's a cool ass thing. Like, it's a very classically told film in that story, with a modern spin on it by obviously Guillermo Del Toro, who's now kind of slowly emerging as like a Mexican master, basically.
I mean, he has been for a while, but why don't you tell us about Guillermo? Because this is our first Del Toro.
It is our first Del Toro. So he's a Mexican filmmaker. He's an author and an artist. We can kind of, in a very general sense, this is very general because it's not very specific, I would say like his work is like characterized by fairy tales, gothicism, and horror. There's a lot to do with monsters and creatures. Very individualistic style. I think it goes to say that like he was the perfect choice for the cinematic world of Hellboy when those originally came out.
Yeah, definitely.
There couldn't have really been anybody else, which also makes how they did The Hobbit kind of even more tragic, because I would have preferred to have seen Guillermo del Toro's The Hobbit than what we actually got. Not to spit in the face of like Peter Jackson or anything.
I don't blame Peter.
The Lord of the Rings. No, but I do feel like they were like, can you not just make The Lord of the Rings again?
Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted to do, and you can't do that. The Hobbit is a short children's novel.
Yeah.
You know, I read that when I was in 4th grade.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
But I think overall, and obviously what's more important, is the fact that we just never got the Guillermo version. Because you can see some of his like drawings and some of the concept stuff and things, like the way he would have taken the dwarves and the story and how everything would have been. I think it would have been interesting. But anyway, I think that's kind of, that individualistic, the individualism as a filmmaker, his voice, his vision is quite interesting. He's married to his current wife, Kim Morgan. She also co-wrote Nightmare Alley. She's a screenwriter and she's also a film writer. She writes about film.
Nice.
Like I'd mentioned before, obviously Nightmare Alley was a 46 novel. was adapted into a film. It's also adapted into a graphic novel by Spain Rodriguez. It was like an underground cartoonist. So there's been several different things here. In terms of Guillermo, quite a vast body of work. It's not particularly. It's quality over quantity. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because he only really kind of hit the scene in the 90s with Kronos in 92. That was a huge win for him that ended up bringing him overseas to directing Mimic for Miramax in 97. And then we kind of get more into, I guess like this was I would say would be like his seminal film, which would be Devil's Backbone in 2001. And then that kind of obviously opened the doors to more comic booky stuff like Blade 2 in 2002, Hellboy 2004. And he would dip back and forth between doing films in his native language, obviously, and to doing films in the US. So Pan's Labyrinth was in 2006. I remember seeing that in the cinema.
Me too.
In a preview event. I got to go see it as a preview.
It's really cool.
Really, really good film. Just a really good, interesting film. We whipped back to Hellboy 2, The Golden Army in 2008, Pacific Rim in 2013, which I think is a modern masterpiece.
It's so good.
I think it's phenomenal. Crimson Peak, I've not seen yet. That's in 2015. Shape of Water, 2017, which was really his Hit It Big international movie.
His Oscar film.
He made a classic Universal monster movie and turned it into a romance, and it ended up being the biggest hit of the year. It was
and
insane.
He put Michael Stahlberg in it.
Yeah.
Very clever choice.
That's just a very good film. It's just an excellent film.
Should watch that later.
Yeah, we should. Once we get through the Lord of the Rings trilogy extended versions we were going to do today.
2 in the morning.
Like we're literally, I'm like, it's really cold here, which is kind of quite pathetic because we're in Florida, but for us it's kind of cold, and we're just wrapping ourselves in blankets and basically buttering ourselves up with some Lord of the Rings for the rest of the night.
Good. Can't wait.
That's it, like a toasted cinnamon bun. Nightmare Alley comes in 2021, and then Pinocchio. This kind of sees Guillermo's migration to the Netflix platform. In 2022, Pinocchio, his stop frame animation, which is weird because the very first film that Guillermo was set to make before he did Kronos in 92 was an animation. It was going to be a stop frame animation. He worked on it for 3 years, doing all the models, all the backgrounds, all of that stuff. And for whatever reason, I do know the reason. A group of people broke into the warehouse where all the models and everything was stored, and they destroyed everything. So he then had to go make Kronos.
What?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. The story he had
make Kronos.
Kronos is the film he made in replacement for the one that he lost.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I can't remember what it was called, not off the top of my head, because I didn't write it down. But it was basically about like a lizard creature that lived in a world where everyone's just killing each other, kind of like a battle royale sort of thing. So it would have been a stop frame animation at that, which I'm like, wow, that could have been interesting. But I think, regardless, irrespective of that, this is him moving more into doing the things, because one of his quotes, I remember this, one of the quotes he had was that, like, when you get into your 40s, you should start to do the things you dreamed of doing when you were 7 years old. And I think that's something I feel like I've embraced, is just spending a bunch of money on shit that I felt I couldn't afford when I was 7 years old. But anyway,
more movies,
more movies, video games,
action
games, action figures, collectible comics, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, Pinocchio. I liked Pinocchio. I think it's fine. I think it's very much like you really have to get into the vision of his stuff in order to like fully appreciate. I think his live action stuff is better though. And then we have Frankenstein in 2025, which we started, but I need to finish. And it was something I wasn't able to see in the cinema. And that's kind of the issue I have with the Netflixification of Guillermo at this point, is that his films that he gets funded and made and Netflix put out are not really going to put them in the cinema for very long. So it's a shame, because I think his stuff needs to be seen on a big screen.
The fact that Frankenstein did not get the fact that it did get any sort of theatrical release is amazing. I'm glad I got to go see it in the cinema. And I'm really bummed that we did not get to go see Nightmare Alley, this one, in the cinema.
Yeah.
Because we bought the Criterion. It would be the first time we watched it. And there's so many discs in that thing.
It's a 4-disc set.
And so I just popped out the first one, and it's in black and white. And I'm like, I know this film isn't in black and white. You know? And then we realized, like, oh no, this is his director's cut-ish black and white version.
I think, well, I mean, yeah, I hadn't finished talking about Guillermo.
Oh my God. We'll keep going.
I worried about Netflix thing because of what they've done to David Fincher.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? I'm worried about that in case they kind of, because I feel like he's delving a little bit more into mediocrity with some of the stuff that he's making at the moment. Not to say that I think
Fincher?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, I was like, you're not talking about Guillermo.
No. Guillermo seems to be okay for the moment. But either way, and the only other thing I wanted to point out is that he wrote a series of books with Chuck Hogan, and that was called The Strain, and that's been a TV show from 2014 to 2017, where they made a TV show out of the trilogy of books that they wrote. That's why he's an author. So there you go.
Do you think that Fincher's The Killer would have been better in a cinema, or would it have been just as not good?
I think what the problem was that he made Mank.
Oh, right.
And
I didn't like that either.
Yeah, and Mank kind of like, as much as that was like a very personal project for him, to me, I found it very difficult to watch, and I felt like I was trying to grab whatever Fincher I could have got out of it, and I didn't really like that. And with The Killer's better because the subject matter is more interesting, but the problem is that it's going down, it's going into a rabbit hole where it's just not as interesting. And I feel like if you peak too early, that's kind of what happens. But the thing was that from making Alien 3, whatever you want to say about Alien 3, it's technically not really his movie, but like from the Seven, Game, Panic Room, Fight Club, Gone Girl, every single film Zodiac, every single film he's made during that period, like Social Network, all that sort of that, like they are pretty much pristine films, other than say The Game's just not as interesting as the other ones, but it's still very interesting. It's like it's like when Kevin Smith said about like Batman and Robin. It's like you'd rather have gay Batman than no Batman. So I'd rather have Fincher than like no Fincher.
Batman had nipples. He had nipples.
How is he supposed to feed the children? And we watched the close to 3-hour black and white extended cut from the Criterion release. And I'll be honest, because I saw clips of the film and I saw the trailers, and it does look nice in color. There is things that I have issue with it being black and white, is that characters refer to things that are in color that are kind of like plot points within the movie. So for me personally, that's the only thing that kind of pulls you out of that black and white experience, because if you're watching a film that was shot for black and white, you're not going to have a color, you're not going to have a character speak about the color of certain items without that color actually being highlighted.
Right.
It's just a different shade of gray at that point. But the thing is that
how many shades of gray?
Varied. But the thing is that because I'm not falling into that trap. The issue I had with that is like they refer to the color blue for this particular thing that obviously is a key plot point within the development of Bradley Cooper's character, and it's like I would have maybe put Willem Dafoe in an ADR booth and just got him to say like left or right or something. So it wasn't really referring to color. That to me is the only gripe I had with it, because otherwise I would just say that the black and white version of this movie is probably the definitive way to watch this movie.
Having said that, that's the only one we've watched, but I want to watch it again. I'm
But
excited to watch the color one.
But the issue I have with if when we go back to the color is I feel like it's I mean, this is a really poor example, but there's certain films of this style. Let's say the film noir style of, say, like the 40s and the 50s. When you get into like modern film noir, that's fine. That makes it like a Breathless or, you know, Red Rock West or, you know, like those sorts of films. Like, it makes sense that they're in color. Like Bound. Bound's a film noir, but it's in color. But it might as well be in black and white because of how desaturated the whole thing is anyway. But it works in that aesthetic because it's a modern telling of that type of story. Here, you're obviously being transported back to, I think it's the 30s, the 40s. You know, everything is stylized and everything has that 1940s sheen about it. So for you, it's kind of just like, it's like the Black Dahlia effect. Like, Brian De Palma made a film called The Black Dahlia. It's set in a very specific time period. That film could have been so much fucking better if it was just in black and white, instead of fucking going around looking like it was in a full kind of color aesthetic, which I feel like that film just doesn't nail it as well as, say, like an LA Confidential or something like that. But anyway, irrespective of those facts, because they've obviously put a little bit more work into this black and white release as well. Like, they've gone to each of the shots to make sure the blacks are black and the whites are white and everything else in between all makes complete sense. Because it has, like, it's been lit a certain way as well. So you're kind of like, they've really put a ton of fucking work into something that, because you can't just take something that you shot in color and just turn it to black and white and expect it to have the same impact. In this sense, it has more of that chiaroscuro differentiation in tone and stuff that you would see with a film of this type from then, with, like, say, the Venetian blinds, like, cutting across, like, wall spaces and the letterboxing of, like, lights across, like, eyes and things like that. Like, stuff like that is super, super, super interesting, and it's all completely seamless. So I would just say, personally, the black and white version is probably the version to watch.
I love that you have film terms to use about how you feel about the design and lighting of the black and white, and I just want to say it looks crisp.
Because that's the thing, is like,
it looks really crisp.
There's, like, Guillermo's very notable like gothic elements that he's bringing in as well, but there's like an Art Deco sense about the period as well, which is being maintained. Because there's a big distinction between, you know, this character's life. He's, you know, we see him, the film starts with him effectively committing what we feel like is a murder, but we're not sure. So it's kind of like very good, like, Sunset Boulevard sort of storytelling where you're just kind of like, oh Christ, there's a body in the pool. What's this all about? And then you get told what happens, basically, from this starting point, and then it's kind of fed back in through the story so you can kind of get a better understanding of who this character is, which is obviously Bradley Cooper's character, whose name is something... Stan
Carlisle.
Stan Carlisle. Because they say Stan. Like, all the way through the movie. But yeah, like, that's kind of where the film noir aspect comes in, and that's kind of where it's firmly there, and obviously the visuals and stuff. Because in film noir, there's a lot of mirrors, there's lots of Venetian blinds, there's all these sharp cutting lines, very kind of, you know, high contrast cinematography. And in this, obviously, you get a lot more of, like, the gothicism, the Guillermo, like, flourishes with, like, how the carny, the traveling circus looks, how those people look, how those characters are depicted, because they are in a big sense. It feels grounded in reality because it's not supernatural. You know, it's all about the mythos and the idea of, like, this traveling circus and what they do, because everything's obviously not real, because everyone kind of turns out, if they're reading your mind, they're probably conning you. So in the bigger scheme of things, You know, he has these far grander ambitions. He's a very interesting character, I found.
Yeah.
Like his story, his arc, and I think the thing is because, you know, I don't rate Bradley Cooper particularly highly, but in some of the things I have seen, if it's not The Hangover or that other fucking terrible film he made where it's a Star Is Born, hate him in that.
You hate him in that?
I don't like that. I don't like him in that movie. I'm just like, just show me Lady Gaga for like
Oh, she's so good, though.
2 hours. Like, she's so fucking good. But, you know, he's got, I just want to see you one more time. It's like, okay. All right, bud. No worries. But at least in this, like, he feels incredibly tangible, very interesting. All of his little characteristics, all of his little mannerisms, all the things that he does, like how he kind of looks as though he's thinking about everything all of the time and kind of formula, like, and it's like it's all really good setup. It's all really good, like, underlying storytelling that's kind of very particular to that. I guess like the golden age of Hollywood, basically.
Well, you're really hitting home how much you enjoyed Bradley Cooper in this film. But
Yes.
what if the main character was played by somebody else? Somebody such as Leonardo DiCaprio.
Don't think it would be as good.
Well, it's a good thing that fate and money intervened because the money negotiations did not go the way that Leo wanted. And so Bradley Cooper stepped in.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been as interesting if it was Leonardo DiCaprio.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think it
agree
would be
with
as
you.
interesting. And all the rest of the bit players in the film are fantastic. I mean, Ron Perlman's there. Rooney Mara's there.
Here's another one that I think might have been slightly more interesting, but I'm not sure because I'm not casting shade on David Strathairn.
Christoph Waltz.
No. Oh my God, that would have been way too much. Way too much.
Yeah, would have completely changed the essence
Because he
of the
can't look
story.
sad. He's just got brightness in his eyes.
He does, yeah. He looks cheeky.
He is.
Yeah, he's like in a 90% state of cheekiness.
Michael Shannon was originally set to play Pete, the husband of Toni Collette.
Oh.
He would have been really good. Michael Shannon, because they're also closer in age. But anyway, there was a scheduling conflict, but David Strathairn stepped in, and he's excellent. He's always nice to see.
David Strathairn's great in everything.
He's just got like a soft little soul inside of him.
Yeah, because he's also in LA Confidential as well.
I've never seen that movie. I've told you this every single week for the past 3 years.
It is weird that you have not seen one of Curtis Hanson's like seminal films. It's like, to me, it was like it goes Chinatown for the most part, then it's LA Confidential, and it's like those are the two that really kind of nail that aesthetic. I guess like that kind of modern retelling, even though Chinatown's like a 70s movie, but yeah.
Wow.
It's still like one of the best versions of that kind of film, and it fits directly into the 70s like nobody's business. Unfortunately, Roman Polanski directed it, but
Boo.
you know, beggars can't be choosers. But yeah.
Well, I want to rewind slightly, I guess, going back in time to 1992, when Guillermo Del Toro first received a copy of this novel given to him by Ron Perlman. So he had never read the book. He'd never seen the 1947 film. So to him, this is not a remake because it couldn't be because he read the source material first.
I think the way that I'd written it down was that it was a new adaptation of the
Correct.
original source material.
Not a remake, but an adaptation of.
Because I've not seen the 1947 film, but I do remember elements of this story. Because I was able to, you can call the ending pretty quickly, but I mean it's like the most logical ending to come to with
for
the
sure.
story. So, you know, it makes sense.
The author of the novel, William Lindsay Gresham, was apparently an unfaithful husband and a terrible alcoholic. And his wife, Joy Davidman, she was a huge fan of C.S. Lewis. You know, the author of the Narnia series.
Yeah.
And she was corresponding with him while she was married to the author of Nightmare Alley, so she was corresponding with C.S. Lewis in England, she actually went to go visit him and hit it off with him so well that she left.
Ooh.
She left Gresham and brought her children, like Gresham's kids, and C.S. Lewis and her got married, and C.S. Lewis raised her children.
Ooh, that is harsh.
Right?
That's pretty hard. And then he wrote Nightmare Alley.
Well, I think he had so he wrote Nightmare Alley, and he got really into he got a little bit into Scientology. He got into psychics and all sorts of kind of alternate, not religious necessarily, but spirituality. And he got funky, but he was also abusive. And also an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he was fucking other people.
Yeah.
And so she's like, you know what?
It makes sense.
This world of Narnia seems pretty damn good. And I'm going to go through this goddamn wardrobe and I'm going to fuck C.S. Lewis.
Pretty much.
And the other side of the wardrobe was a lot greener than what she was dealing with.
A Mr. Penis.
Like Mr. Tumnus?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Mr.
Oh
Penis.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, Del Toro said that one of the reasons he was interested kind of in the lore, maybe not lore, but of grifters and psychics who kind of prey on vulnerable people was because his father was kidnapped and held for ransom in Mexico in 1998. And when he was talking to the hostage negotiator, he said, "Watch out for the psychics. The psychics will come first." Because the psychics will come and prey on you and go, he loves you. He's looking for you. He's trying to reach you.
Yeah.
Things like that. And so basically he hangs up the phone with the hostage negotiator, turns around, and his mom is sitting in the living room with two psychics. And he's like, "Get out of here." And so he kicks the psychics out. And so that kind of like when that happened, he had already read the story, and it kind of started fleshing out this idea of this kind of personal connection to being in a vulnerable situation, and then connecting it with the story.
That's like a beautiful thing about Guillermo's work is that the films that he makes that people would perceive to be, say, like less personal, like Hellboy, for example. That was a big sticking point with him, is that journalists were kind of just like, well, when do you think you'll move to making something that's a little bit more personal, say like A Devil's Backbone? And eventually that question's kind of answered to the press with Pan's Labyrinth. But he said that every single film he makes, there is a personal connection to the characters in that film. And I think that's why Hellboy and Hellboy 2 are so good. Is because he's able to understand it, and it still has that mainstream quality about it. Because I think that's really kind of like that's a weird kind of distinction that we feel like we have to make, is that if a film makes and is made for so much fucking money, that a lot of the individuality from that project disappears, and I don't think that's particularly true in most cases.
Right. He had also said that some of the influences, because it is this kind of neo-noir film, the influences for the film were films like Too Late for Tears, Strangers on a Train, and Fallen Angel. Yeah. And he didn't want to like drop into tropes, but sometimes it's hard to not. But
when it's like a stylistic like concern, and it's like identifying with the genre, I think it just kind of has to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why he made a black and white version.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because it's so heavy on the influence that just become the thing that it's influenced by the most,
Right.
I mean, that's it basically.
His original cut of this film was 3 hours and 15 minutes long. And he's never made a film. This is the only film he's made, well, up to this particular point, where his film was over 2 hours long. Every film, an hour, 59. He is like, I don't go over 2 hours. That has since changed, but he said that he had to cut 40 minutes from the carnival and about 20 to 30 minutes from the city scenes, because he showed it to a group of like 20 people, like a small group, and they could feel the slowness. They could feel it. And it's not, he says it's more of a case of how quickly or how succinctly you can get, because you've got A, B, and C, right, in a film. He's like, how quickly you can get from A to B and from B to C. And he's like, it wasn't working in that 3-hour plus cut. And so when he got it down, you know, he cut about an hour out, and he said that it's like, and it is quick. It does not feel its length, which is like what you want when, because it's daunting these days. When you want to go see a freaking movie.
We really dislike watching, like going to see something that's over 2 hours long.
You groan.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you know, like deep down, it's probably going to be slow as fuck. It's probably going to be super, super slow. Like, because you feel like there's a lot of filler in it for no reason. No, I would say, like, personally, with Nightmare Alley, and we watched it late, and that's not usually something we do, and we're fucking exhausted, and we're watching it, and I was riveted. Like, it put its hooks in me from start to finish, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm in this. So if he took an hour out of it just because it felt slow, I think he's made the absolute perfect choice. It's perfect the way it is.
Yeah.
And that we watched this extended cut. We'd probably notice differences in the other, but it's only extended by like 9 minutes or something. So it's like I don't think you would even notice those infinitesimal changes for the most part. But yeah, no. The pacing in this film is fantastic. So,
and you know, they actually shot it from the second part first and then the first part last. And they did this, it wasn't meant to be that way, but as you would imagine, this came out in 2021. This is a COVID film. So production started in September 2019. About 45% of the film was shot before the shutdown. Okay. And it took a whole year before they could pick up production again. So in that time, because they shot it second half first part last, Bradley Cooper was like, I'm going to lose some weight so that I look younger for when we shoot the beginning of the film, you know, because it's a linear film. So, and then also Rooney Mara had a freaking baby in between.
Yeah.
So she was pregnant in the beginning, you know, or you know what I mean? Like when they started shooting, she was pregnant, and then she had the baby. So she was like a different person when she came out and shot the other part of the movie. So it's, I don't know. I think it lends to help it, and you wouldn't notice it.
It's such small, and I say that's something that's maybe more an actor's decision than say the director's decision. But I guess, like, because you don't notice that it's weird. Although now that you're saying that she was pregnant while they were filming, like she definitely looks different between the parts.
I think Guillermo said that when she came back to film, when they filmed the first part of the movie, she was like fully grounded.
She
and
looked
just
like rejuvenated.
Correct. Because it's
which
like,
is, yeah,
which
you're
is
like,
funny.
huh, that's weird. Yeah, because then when you say that, you know, again, I don't want to say like it's an advertisement for bearing children. But yeah, she looks like, she doesn't look like she's been bored down, or she doesn't look like she's been shoved into the background like she does with the second part of that movie.
Also, yeah, because she had her child, and then she, you know, just was able to like work on herself, take care of herself, because she was also worried, like when she was pregnant, that she has to wear those skimpy outfits for the carnival.
Yes.
And she's like, I'm with child.
Yes.
How's that gonna work?
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, this is great. Perfect timing.
Yeah, it's a shame that women have to kind of go through that. But again, she's an actress.
Pregnancy?
Well, no, I mean like that kind of like, oh my god, I've just had a child and I'm basically doing this thing that's very natural to me and things like that. Like, oh god, yes, the last thing you want is people judging you for the way you look.
Wow, that is the definition of a woman every single day of her life.
Yeah, I'm very nice to ladies.
Good job.
Good.
You should be.
Good job.
Good for you. You get a good boy ribbon.
Absolutely. Yeah, Yeah.
let's absolutely jump to 21 minutes into this film.
Yes.
This is an early penis scene.
Early enough. It's not like the
Early
opening
enough for a
moment.
2-hour plus movie.
That's true.
Pop the
Yeah.
penis in real quick.
Yep.
Get a look.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So by the time Stan, he ends up with this traveling group. He's kind of situated there. He goes to see Toni Collette, who has a house there. She's one of the psychics.
Incredible.
Very good.
Oh, God, I love Toni Collette.
And basically, like, she's not like a femme fatale, because that comes later. That's with Cate Blanchett. She's not really a femme fatale.
Yeah, she's just a lady who likes to
Cate Blanchett,
have sex.
I'm just going to put it out there. She's fucking awesome in this.
She's awesome
She's
and
so
evil.
good. She's really fucking cruel, but she's perfect. She's really
Absolutely.
good. She's well cast. Anyway, Toni Collette, she's the psychic. And it, like, to me, I was trying to, like, vocalize or, like, conjure up the words as, like, how to describe what her character is like, because she's kind of synonymous within the genre, like, this type of character. Not the psychic stuff, but, like, her... Because the issue is, like, with film noirs, like, women tend to be tools for the plot. So they all have very specific objectives within the plot of the story. Because you're usually dealing with a lead character who's done something awful. He's a guy, obviously. He's done something terrible. And there's going to be some level of retribution. And he's going to be seduced by effectively the femme fatale. We already know who that person is. It's Cate Blanchett. And it's going to be the makings of his downfall, basically. So the Toni Collette character is kind of like you think she might be the femme fatale because it's revolving around sex. She actually has sex with him because he only goes there in order to get into the tub, basically, so he can wash off.
And she's married.
She is married.
So you think,
yes.
like, okay, where is this gonna go?
So
and it's not
yeah.
exactly what you think.
But she's a synonymous type of character within the lore of this genre, basically. And she seduces Bradley Cooper.
Not difficult.
Not hard. He's also laying it on super thick. Like
also
he's like,
not hard.
He's like buttery smooth. But the thing is that, you know, it's like this extra layer to these characters, and it all kind of makes to me it all makes sense within the stylized look of this. And he's in the tub, and there's no bubbles in the tub. There's no soap. He's just rinsing himself off with water. And, well, that's the thing. If there was bubbles, we wouldn't see anything.
That would have pissed me off.
Well, we wouldn't have done the film. We would have been like, oh, what a fucking nonsense.
Boo for bubbles.
But basically, they've been having this very seductive, very leading conversation between the pair of them.
I know you're so bad for me. I can tell.
Yeah,
You're just so bad for me while I reach my hand to this tub.
Because that's the thing, like, Toni Collette's character is kind of like the polar opposite of Rooney Mara's character. Because they're kind of like Toni Collette's very, like she's unemotional. Like, she doesn't get attached. She likes the cheekiness of everything, but she's not, like, attached. Like, she's not in love. So it's like this is probably something she's done recurring. And I don't know, like, why she does it, because she's never going to leave her husband. But it's just, like, that little bit of excitement in her life. And I guess, like, she always, because she's a psychic, she always knows when her husband's coming home.
She's not a psychic.
So.
Oh, my God, you're ridiculous.
Right, either way.
No. He's always drunk, so she knows when he's drunk.
Yeah.
And she can, when he's drunk, it's time to fuck.
It feels so
that
fitting.
Doesn't rhyme.
Fitting so to the drama, to the genre. But anyway, they're flirting with each other, and it gets to the point where she puts her hand in the bath, obviously touches his knob, but it's in between that moment before she puts her hand in, and he's there, and you see it, because you're going to get ripples, because it's under the water, but you do see it, and he, like, arches back, like, slightly out of the tub, because obviously she's going straight for his gooch, so he's, like, starting to kind of arch back a little bit, and then it gets kind of sexy.
Yeah. This was Toni Collette's very first day of shooting. First day on set.
Perfect. Perfect.
And so Bradley Cooper said, because he was asked, and people get all, I mean, so do I. You get all excited about full frontal male nudity. You go, oh, they're doing it. This is very exciting, because it is exciting, especially for someone like me. But he said the film demanded that we be naked, both emotionally and soulfully, and physically for me, which was actually a big deal. I still remember that day, just to be naked in front of the crew for 6 hours. It was pretty heavy. Because he's never done this before. This is his first nude, which is funny because I don't even think you see his butt.
It's not that you say it as if like he's like, I'm just not wearing clothes for 6 hours.
Yeah, I'm just nude in front of the boys for 6 hours.
Gary.
Turn around, Gary. He said, like, kind of regarding whether or not he should even do the scene, he was like, I remember reading the script and thinking, he's a pickled punk in that bathtub. You have to do it.
I don't get it.
I don't know what that means.
I don't understand.
But he said he's a pickled punk.
Hey, I mean, I don't know. Like, does that mean he's got a big dick?
No, like, he's a punk. He's got, I don't know, like Superman. He's punk. I have no idea. It's a weird thing to say. I don't know
really
Bradley
fully
Cooper.
understand it.
I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know his slang. But he said that, okay? And he also said that he never considered backing out because there's nothing gratuitous about it, which is true.
Yeah.
Because you got a casual, no bubbles bath,
Yeah.
and you got a bath tug.
A bath tug.
From Toni Collette.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean...
It's like, here's the thing, like, we're gonna like the scene, we're just not really gonna like the visibility. Because the visibility is poor.
Not good, yeah.
Very poor.
But people were talking about it. It's the same thing, which a film we haven't done yet, which is Outlaw King. Oh my gosh, Chris Pine gets his dick out. Does he? I mean, he does.
He does, but it's
for,
like...
For everyone physically around him,
yeah.
but not for the audience.
Aye. Like, well, who directed that? David Mackenzie?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
It's just him and David Mackenzie, man. Like, David Mackenzie's just, like, trying his best not to look at his balls.
David Mackenzie's like, I cannot do a film if someone doesn't get their dick out, guys. That's in my contract.
Yeah, that's in his pep speech just before the first day of shooting to the entire crew.
Yeah.
Just so you're all aware, because he's obviously from Scotland, just so you're all aware, we're going to put somebody's dick in this film.
We're gonna draw straws.
And then he's just like, all right, let's get going. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's very much one of the, because obviously it's like, yeah, it's yeah, it's just one of those. It's one of those. It's ones that it's so like unnoticeable and so brief that like obviously media outlets can, because they can put that in the media. They can put that on the newscasts, on the entertainment.
You're so brave. You're so brave.
Because it's so tame. It's like 50 Shades of Grey. It's so tame that it's like you can put, yeah, there's no dick in that, but you can put, you know, you can put that stuff on fucking TV, for example, because it's like nobody cares. Like, you can't put the rest of the stuff that's in the movie on TV. It's just, it becomes a talking point for something that the media maybe saw itself as seeing, like, being untalkable on like daytime TV, like that sort of thing. It's just like, oh my god, Bradley Cooper's in this movie, and it's blah, blah, blah. It's just like this extra layer to that shit. So that's kind of how I see it, because it doesn't really affect the story too much. It's just it's a good kind of moment, because it's a good modern rendition of a scene like that you would see in like a 1940s film noir. Like Humphrey Bogart's not getting his cock out, like in the kitchen. You know what I mean? It's probably just his dick, but it's got like his head on it, like his face.
Jesus. No. Okay.
It's that stuff that dreams are made of.
One thing is that they mentioned Gibtown, which is Gibsonton, which is the carny town outside of Sarasota, based on because of the Ringling Circus. I was excited about that because it's Florida. Also, there's this thing that was kind of like clearly super duper obvious, is when Clem, which is Willem Dafoe, and Stan go to drop that murdered or very injured geek at the Salvation Army Hospital in the rain. There is this really obvious sign in the back just behind Bradley Cooper that says Jesus saves, but like some of the lights are out, and it just reads Us Aves, which in Latin means we are birds. We are birds. Is it because we are caged, because it's like a carnival, or because humans are, you know, like we're not meant to be in cages because we are birds to be free? Like, what do you think that means? Because it was too obvious to not like look up and notice.
It was too obvious to not like conjure some level of like opinion on it. Because I saw it and you see it within the shot and you're just like, hold on. And because it's black and white, it's like for me personally, like I don't really have an issue with. I mean, I'm interested with how Guillermo stages his scenes and like puts all that stuff together because he's got a very individualistic. It's very non-traditional, his shooting habits. I feel kind of like a Lanthimos. Like his the way he shoots stuff is very unconventional as well.
I would watch both of them kiss.
I mean, I'm sure they have.
That would
I
be
mean,
so
to be
nice.
fair, Guillermo's also friends with Hideo Kojima, who did the Metal Gear Solid games.
They could kiss too if they want.
And they're both. I'm pretty sure there's enough mocap footage of Guillermo Del Toro, because that's the videos I want to see. Remember, there's Ang Lee who did all the Hulk stuff in a motion capture suit, and it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because Guillermo's in Hideo's games. He's in Death Stranding. He's in both of those Death Stranding games that he made. Guillermo's in those.
Best friend club.
Also, Guillermo co-wrote and co-directed the cancelled Silent Hills game that was going to be coming out. That obviously has the very famous demo that's now, you know, completely unavailable called PT, which was the playable trailer that they made. It was this terrifying, scary video game based on the very popular series. But it had Norman Reedus as the lead in that.
Why did they cancel that?
Because of Konami.
Boo.
Konami fired Hideo Kojima from that, and then the project basically got completely just got sunk down. And then Kojima has Kojima Productions, and he's made games and stuff like that. But they still make Metal Gear Solid games that are synonymous with him as a creator, because they still own the license. They have that under lock and key. He'll never get that back. So he makes games very, and I almost said films like as a Freudian slip, but like basically he makes films that are video games basically.
Right.
Very little in the way of like gameplay, and it's very, very motion oriented basically. Very little gameplay, but his games they're not bad to play. Anyway, doesn't really matter. But yeah, Guillermo Del Toro was also attached to that project. So, and he's in Death Stranding. So there's probably videos out there of him doing motion capture for hours probably.
Willem Dafoe has the titular line in this film. And that's very important to me.
That's where all the bums are.
I've got a list going on my Letterboxd.
He looks like a very viable homeless man.
There should have been a titular song, but there's not.
Nightmare Alley.
I'm coming down the street. Oops, it's not my rally.
Oh my God, I'm in a cage and I'm eating chicken.
Great. Wow. Wonderful. So why don't we jump into our ratings then? Okay. In terms of, for me, I'll go first. In terms of visibility and context, I'm going to go 2. I could go 2.5 if you add context in. It's just like, it's not quite visible. We also watched the black and white version. So I'm sure in color, you got that nice pop that you want to see. You got that pop. And I'm looking for that pop. But anyway, the black and white version was super fun. The context is fantastic. You know, you got a bathtub. I want to see what's going on in there. But, you know, you can't really see that much. It's a Hollywood film. They're going to taper that type of thing down. And that's okay. It was fine. And in terms of the film overall, I gave it a 4. I liked it very much. And it's very fun. And I would like to watch it again. I'm glad we own it. Ryan?
I agree with you in terms of the context, because I love the context. But the
Yes.
visibility, I would drop even further to like a 1. You know, it might be just because, again, you referred to that pop.
That pop.
Yeah, if it was in color, it would probably make more sense because it's flesh skin against like a kind of gray bathtub. So that would make sense. But because we watched the black and white, it might improve. We never know. I'm not redoing this for the color version. That's not going to happen. So yeah, probably like 1 to the 2. I think it makes sense because it's still not visible even in color. It's not even out of the water, so it's just like a mirage. It's weird.
True.
But yeah, contextually, like it's a really good. To me, I felt like it was a really good modern representation of an old style of that kind of scene where it can just like, you know what, we can take it a little bit further. You know, like back in the day when you were like, there's a man without his shirt on. Like that was something that was like scandalous. I mean, Christ, they fucking outlawed doing lens flares until they started becoming a thing in the 1960s. So I don't know. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I think I agree with that. In terms of the film, like the more I talk about it, like the more I fucking love it. And I gave it a 4 originally, and I was kind of between it's not like a 5-star film. But it's between a 4 and a 4.5. So it's like as close to like fucking perfect as it is. But 4.5, I think there's something of it. Because like it's a film noir, right? But it's the sharpest film noir you've ever seen in your fucking life. And it's like, yeah. Like
It's got
you can
all the
take it.
best boys and girls in it too.
I mean, we watched RoboCop, and there's certain films. I think it's what I'm trying to talk about because I just want to go drink some more. It's New Year's Day. The thing I like about old films is they have like that natural grain, and it's like an organic grain that like moves with the image as opposed to approximating what that image is going to be by making like a digital pixel move, which is effectively what's happening here. So to me personally, it's always going to be a 4.5 because it's just a wee bit too sharp.
Because it's not RoboCop.
No, it's not fucking RoboCop.
God, I love RoboCop.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, amazing. Well, good. I loved it. I'm glad we bought it. Thank you, Criterion Sale.
It's a fucking cool film. Like it's just a really cool telling of that story. It's just an awesome fucking thing.
You can depend on Guillermo Del Toro to make a good one, and he did.
He did.
Well, Happy New Year, everybody. 2026 is going to be very fun, and make sure to follow us on Letterboxd, which you can find on our Instagram at onthebeat, BiTTE. And we're going to have fun. It's going to be a funky year.
I hope so. I've already started using 2020's terminology, like the kids use.
Like what?
Like,
not funky fresh.
Got that riz.
Oh, okay. I don't like that. Anyway. Coming to you from the tent of the bearded lady. I have been Laura.
Yeah, Ryan.
Just turn it off. Turn it off.